All right, welcome to Slackers Eve. We are back with a brand new saga that is starting tonight, a monthly run saga called Vendetta. It is based around the beginner game, town of Moshuta, Tatooine. If you guys are familiar with At the Edge of the Empire, the beginner game, that's where it takes place. And this saga will be based around that town and the events of that. We will introduce the characters as gameplay proceeds on who you are and who you're playing. But I'm going to start off tonight's game with a little narration. So, the setting of this game is at Moshuta, Tatooine, a small little city in the middle of the desert on Tatooine, on top of this big, huge bluff that sits with desert surrounding, mountains that are on the edges that you can barely see around this desert. The last couple weeks in Moshuta have been quite trying on the citizens of this little city. 3 to 4 weeks prior to the day that this game begins, a Jedi was captured in the town. Now, this game takes place 5 years before the Death Star and the events of A New Hope happen. So the Jedi are still being hunted down, and a Jedi was captured as other Jedi were fleeing the town. So since then, more Imperial troops have moved into this town, which has caused a lot of tension among the citizens. Not only the fact that 2 to 3 days prior to this day that we're beginning, it was 6 individuals that worked for Timo the Hutt, who runs this city, escaped Timo's grudges and left the planet. Timo, becoming furious, has locked down the city, so nobody gets in, nobody gets out without Timo knowing about it. And the Imperials have left a platoon's worth of stormtroopers to constantly monitor the city to look for any more possible Jedi that might be in the city. Tonight's game begins, like I said, 2 to 3 days after this small group of Timo's employees and people that were obligated to Timo fled. The 3 characters we have playing tonight, 2 of them, we have a total of 5, just so you guys know. 2 of them were not able to make it tonight. Tommy, who had last-minute issues happen at home, so we will see you next session, Tommy. And Tyler, who is on vacation, so his character will be in next session. But we do have our 3 players tonight. Now, their characters, I will let them introduce themselves, are sitting around in a cantina. The cantina is Vort's Cantina, which is the cantina where, if anybody who's watching is familiar with the beginner game, is where the players in the beginner game had their first encounter with the Gamorrean guards. The cantina has since been fixed up. I mean, there was a little bit of damage, but very little that they caused in this cantina. At the cantina are the bartender, whose name is Vort, Sindis Vort, Devarian, and 2 Twi'leks, both blue-skinned. One who is dressed in dancer entertainment, costume by the name of Adama Texa, and another one who's sitting there talking to her, dressed up, looks like in some armor, a headset, and just basically all-terrain gear to be out in the desert and stuff. And I would like each of you to tell me what your characters are doing at this time. The 2 Twi'leks are sitting at the bar, and of course the bartender's on the other side of the bar. We're going to start with Donnie, then Ken, then Thomas. Introduce your character and what your character's doing at this time.
Well, good sirs, Jack Snake Eyes McGraw is sitting there at the Starbucks table. He's being nice to them. He is a Falleen, so his iridescent green skin is shining nicely. He's got his hat pulled low. His duster is upon him as he kindly takes the money away from these poor, wretched residents of Mos Shuta.
Math about a gank, face always covered, some semblance of metal sticking out on his armor. You don't know if it's part of him or it's not. As he sits back in the corner and slides his mask up a little bit and takes a drink and kind of scoffs at everything going around at the bar, puts his head back down and is messing with something on a data pad, but not exactly. Doesn't look like he's actually doing anything. It looks like he's actually sitting with his face towards the door, paying attention to everything going around.
And Norm, the Wook Jones, he's a big guy. He's nicknamed the Wook because he's strong as a Wookiee. He's working the door at the cantina here. And he's just sitting on a stool, you know, by the doorway. But he's got his eyes on Snake Eyes there because he heard some rumblings that he might owe some money. And
Sir, how dare you disparage me?
he's had to throw him out of here a number of times before, and you know, he's just watching out. It may not be Snake Eye's fault. It may be other people messing with him, but you know, he's done this for a while. He's a professional bouncer. He knows where the trouble's going to start.
All right, so as you guys are sitting there watching, you know, Wook's watching Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is doing his thing. Matt's doing his thing. Two individuals walked past you, Norm. Clara, or Clarelle, who is the proprietor of the Dubak stables there in town, and Bengara, who runs the Off-World Traders shop there, and he's a Twi'lek, and Clara is a human. They walk past you and they're discussing stuff. I want you guys to roll perception checks. Difficulty 1 purple.
He might be paying attention, but he's not doing it very well.
Times one success. Three advantage. 2 successes. Oh, 3 successes. All right. So, Donnie, take a point of strain for your threat. You, Wook and Snake Eyes, you guys hear them two discussing. You hear Clara talking to Bengara, going, "This stuff is just getting too much. When we first let Timo come in this town, he promised us business was running as usual. These past couple of weeks have been nothing but trouble." And Bengara goes, "I know, right? I haven't been able to get a shipment in 2 to 3 weeks because these Imperials have blocked the starports from anybody coming in and out because of that damn Jedi they captured." And they're walking towards the bar, and they're still discussing stuff. And can you, although you're not really hearing what they're saying, with your 3 advantage, I'm going to say you get this feeling of that they are pretty angry And from the last couple, like I said, weeks, you've noticed that people have been getting angrier with Timo. Being that Math is a employer of Timo, how is Math thinking at this point?
Well, Timo needs to whip him in line, because if somebody becomes out of line and he's in control of this, he definitely needs to handle this. I'm off duty, but he definitely needs to do something if he wants to regain what he lost with what happened.
All right.
He lost his honor, I would say, when the six escaped.
Timo lost his honor?
Yes.
Or Matt? Okay.
Timo
All right.
did.
Okay, so you would say that Matt's feeling a little like, hey, Timo's screwing us all over. Same feeling everybody else is.
Yes.
All right. As these two are discussing, the one blue Twi'lek, not the entertainer, not a Dama, but the other one turns to him and says, if Timo gets word of this, he might have you two executed right on the spot. And they kind of look over at her and go, and look over at her strangely and goes, "What, are you going to tell her?" And she goes, "Why would I tell him? I work for Sato." But that one might, and she points at you, Matt. What do you do?
I wave. As disarming as I can.
Right. So they start to quiet down a little bit, and Ijem leans over to him and seems to be talking. Wook, Snake Eyes, are you guys watching this exchange, or are you doing something else at this point?
Well, I'm going to say that it just sounds like normal, everyday grumbling as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I would probably know these two people would probably come in like every day or every other day. And probably, I don't know, maybe they complain about everything. But yeah, the Wook would probably just be looking at Snake Eyes or at his general table.
All right, so I'm going to say do another perceptions check. This time, a hard check, so it'd be a 3 purple. Ken, though, I'm gonna give a setback to the Wook because he is further away and more focused on what Snake Eyes is doing. Oh. Okay, I'm not going to give you all those threats, but you just, I want to say this with that, you don't hear what the blue Twi'lek is saying to these other two, but she's whispering to them. And they're nodding, and they get up, they take a drink, the drink that they order from the bartender as they're talking. You notice them drinking, and the blue Twi'lek's still talking, and they're nodding, and then they get up and leave. And the other blue Twi'lek goes back to the dancer, Adama, and they start conversing again. So what do you guys want to do next?
Make money. I got debts to pay.
All right.
I would like to stand up and walk over to where the two Twi'leks are sitting. Okay.
And what do you say to them?
I do not know if my reputation precedes my involvement in certain matters. However, I do wish to understand your current thought process on Timo. Being a well-respected resident of the area and wanting to make money, why would you, in all good faith, shows such disrespect to the person that runs it.
And the Adama just kind of looks down at her drink, and the other blue Twi'lek, which you guys know who she is. You've seen her around town for a while. She, from what you know, is the assistant to the doctor who works at the. It's a little shack near the gate where explorers come to get information and go out to do their expeditions, who hasn't been doing much in the past couple weeks because nobody's been allowed in or out without Timo knowing about it. And so she's not been that busy. She's been pretty much stuck in Moshuta. She looks to you, Matt, and she goes, my gripe with Timo goes so far back you can't possibly know. But the gripe with them now is the fact that I'm not making any money right now.
That seems to be an important statement to most people in town.
Well, of course, a lot of these people are now stuck not making a living because of Timo's actions. He promised everybody in this town, from what I have understood, a better life than what they had prior to Timo coming, and it seems like the past couple weeks things have gotten worse.
And how do you expect to change it?
She, at that statement, she gives a grin, and she's going to look at you. What is let's see. She looks at you, and she goes, well, I might tell you, but see, I know for a fact that you work for Timo, who says that if whatever I tell you at this point will not get back to him, and Timo and his goons will hunt me down.
Your assumption is fair. However, a person that really is a leader would never let it get to this point. Let's just end it with that. And I don't sit around to wait for her to answer. I just get back, walk to my booth, sit down.
She looks intrigued, and she looks to Adama, and she kind of gets emotional weight right here, kisses her on the cheek real quick, and gets up and walks to you, Snake Eyes, and says, so I hear you're looking to make some money.
Well, good sir,
Ma'am.
is Moshuta. Of course, you want to make money. Is that not the goal, is to live your life comfortably, sipping upon some Carillion ale, feet kicked up upon your porch, just enjoying the beautiful sunsets that occur upon this fine planet?
She grins, she goes, a simple yes or no would suffice, but yes. Okay, I take it as a yes. And she looks...
I'm sorry, Chris, you did say this was Adama, the Twi'lek dancer?
No, Adama's sitting. The other female Twi'lek, blue Twi'lek, is the other one. That
Okay.
You know as
All right.
the doctor, which the doctor...
The doctor's assistant. Gotcha.
Yeah. This is his assistant. And she looks over at Wook, and looks over at Vort, and kind of gives a nod, and says, hey, Wook, come here.
And I'll walk over and say, what can I do for you?
As he's walking over, I'm grabbing my chips and shuffling my deck back, and I do believe that the men's room is calling me at this point.
As she's looking at Wook, she points to you and goes, you stay right there. And she looks to Wook and goes, Wook, tell me the truth, buddy. Are you sick of the crap that's going on here on Moshuta with Timo?
I grew up in this town. Before Timo came here, there was a spark. Since Timo's been here, there's been nothing but strife and anger. every day I want to leave, but something tells me I should stay. And I think it's come to that point where something should be done.
She grins and she goes, "That's the answer I want to hear, and that's the answer I've been hearing from a lot of citizens." And she turns to you, Matt, and goes, "I think this one's sick of Timo's crap too. What do you guys think?"
She's pointing to math.
To Matt, yeah.
Wook will say, "Well, I know he works for that slug, but I can't fault him because I've taken a contract or two from him before. I guess we all have to make a look."
Did you just disparage Timo and call him a slug?
Yes, I did. You got a problem with it?
Looks up at Norm, looks to one shoulder, looks to the other shoulder, and says, "None at all, good sir. None at all."
Thought so. Thought so.
She then turns and goes, "Hey you, Matt, the one that works for Timo, come over here."
I stand up and walk over.
No one likes math.
That's the point,
It's
really.
my worst subject.
She, as you walk up, she goes, "I get the feeling that you're sick of working for Timo. Am I incorrect in that assumption?"
When you find a weakness, you take it. He is currently weak, or she is currently weak.
It's a he, yeah.
It is a he, so he is currently weak.
And she goes, "Okay, boys, sit down." And she turns to Vort and goes, "I think it's closing time, Vort. What do you think?" And he nods and he goes walking to the door to lock up for the night. It's probably early, but it doesn't seem like many people are out tonight, being that everything's pretty much locked down. Not a lot of money's left in town, so she goes, "All right, boys, I'm working on a plan. We're going to get rid of Timo and this Imperial stain that's all over this town. There's a few of us here," and she looks at you, Matt, "even some in your own organization that are looking to get rid of Timo."
I would like to just be a small voice of dissent in this grand party of ours, but what is to prevent someone worse than Timo from taking his place? That is the problem when you take out someone. There's a vacuum created. Someone's going to fill it.
She grins because you're a fairly smart individual for somebody who owes Timo 15,000 credits.
It is 14,887.
The bounty board today had it at 15.
Damn it. I need to hire a slicer to fix that again.
It's not worth anything right now with current situations.
She goes, "That is true. Anytime you try to get rid of one bad apple, sometimes the worst apple comes into play." So you got to ask yourselves, how do you destroy a Hutt?
Well, if you take out his reputation, then the rest of the Khajiit will leave him be and leave him to flutter in the wind, at which point he's all by his lonesome. And a few well-placed blaster bolts can resolve that problem easily.
I don't agree. The Hutts don't have a reputation, nor do they care for one. They only care about money.
I'm not talking about us normal folk, but with the Hutts, the more money you have, the bigger your reputation.
Which is what I'm saying. You take out the money.
If you prove him to be a bad businessman, the Hutts will cut their ties with him.
Now you guys do realize who Timo is related to, correct? Do you guys know? I know Matt would probably know.
I believe that it is another slimy potato.
Well, of course, but do you realize how big the slimy potato this one is related to is?
Are you saying that we have to go after Jabba first before we go after Timo? I agree with your second sentiment with blaster bolts will end it. But I do not believe that we can stand up to Jabba's wrath for ending his nephew.
She looks at Matt and goes, "You are correct on that. Going after Jabba is too dangerous. We'll end up getting us all killed."
I believe that we must first develop the back door that we will use to exit post-haste upon the ending of Mr. Timo.
But maybe you're right, Snake Eyes. Maybe if his reputation is tanked, Jabba will disown him. And then it'll be easy pickings.
She looks at you, Wook, and goes, "For a guy with big muscles like that, you're pretty darn smart."
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not what I said earlier?
I give you full credit.
She goes, "Well, yes, we would have to either ruin it. We would have to ruin his reputation with Jabba, that is for sure. But Timo does still have powerful interests outside of his family. That, of course, every Hutt runs a side business here or there. And it's going to be much harder to dislodge without the full support of Jabba. That'll take some time. But
I'm not going anywhere.
there is another Hutt. Not the one I work for, not Pasato. Pasato stays out of this. Pasato's got her own problems. But there is one other Hutt out there. One that has been shamed by Jabba's family and the clan he runs under. That is looking for a way in. Now, for some time, this clan has had operatives in this town.
Well, forgive me here.
All
I heard was, let's replace a Hutt with a Hutt.
That is true. The problem is Tatooine for, I say as long as I've known Tatooine, has always been run by Hutts one way or the other. It's on the outer rim. The Republic never cared about this planet. The Empire sure as hell doesn't care about this planet.
Are we aware of who these lovely little pawns, forgive me, potential allies may be in this endeavor?
Yes, I know who they are. But that information costs. And I know you guys have hardly any money to get that information. But I'm a fair person. I will let you guys figure it out over time on who's there. Plus, over time, they will reveal themselves. Now you're worried about another Hutt taking the place of this one Hutt. Let's just say this Hutt has survived hundreds of years outside of the Hutt Council's graces and pretty much out of Hutt society. They're looking to get back in. They survived many centuries without the Hutt's support. They are smart, they are intelligent, and they won't cause the damage I'm pretty sure that Timo has caused. Now, I can't speak for certain. People surprise me over times. I have learned that over the years. But if this Hutt screws up, the worst that's going to happen is Jabba's going to come up, eliminate them, eliminate Timo, and at least you'll have one problem out of your way. Timo's out of there. So either way, Timo's going to be out. Things will open back up. Timo has no love for the Empire. Or Jabba has no love for the Empire. Timo does, unfortunately, have a nice working relationship with the Empire, and that's another problem this town does not need.
Well, I believe that we need to get started with something. We need to ruin his reputation. This will also cause him to hurt in business propositions. When those business dealings slow down, he will be losing even more money, which for a Hutt is the same as having a fly buzzing around their back and nipping them. This will anger him. It will get him to be very, very sloppy. And at that point, well, the Wook can do what the Wook does best to Timo.
I can't wait.
While I sell tickets to it all.
Now, she pauses for a minute. That we are working on finding the ways to ruin business more for Timo. We've got a couple people inside Timo's organization that are working with myself and others.
How do you know you can trust these people?
I don't. And she taps on her blaster. She goes, this sometimes is enough to bring trust into order. And she goes, they know better not to double-cross me.
That is a fantastic statement. I agree.
So she pauses for a moment. She goes, now, a lot of these citizens in this town are just citizens. They're not warriors. They're not people that are going to fight. But there are some in this town that will fight. There are some that have information that will ruin Timo. There are actually some in this town that do benefit from Timo and will be hesitant to turn their backs on him as well. This is just the beginning of what's to come. You three here seem like we can trust you enough to do the job that needs to be done. And trust me, you guys are not alone in this venture. There are many on the inside and outside of town that are working to get rid of Timo. In fact, these 6 that left this town are already finding their ways to try to destroy Timo.
Well, I will have to say this, since I'm not sure if you have thought upon it, but exactly what is there to prevent us from running to Timo for a substantial reward upon your head?
I don't see a reward on her head.
Oh, there would be if Timo found out.
And she
Then run.
points. She grabs the gun, points it right at Snake Eyes, right in between your eyes, and goes, "And what will stop me from pulling this trigger right now?"
Well, you might want to look underneath the table, at which point I'll have maneuvered my blaster to point right at her.
She looks down and she goes, "Well played. You can turn me in." Oh, let me point down. I was pointing right at the camera. I was like, "Wow, there's my fist right there." She goes, "You can turn me in if you want, but I guarantee you, I've got friends and family that will pay a very high price for your head. Plus, it might be more profitable to work for me rather than work against me.
And there you go. At that point, he brings up his other hand. You have said the magic words.
She pulls back her pistol and she goes, I figured money would talk with you.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. She goes, you guys may not know who I am, but my name is Ijem Zoli.
What was that?
I
Say
am Ijem Zoli, EJEM apostrophe ZOLI. I am assistant to Dr. R.S. Angar. You know him. He's the one who runs the survey office here in town.
I'm still here. I'm just turning the cam off real quick.
No problem, man. But that is not my only job. I also am affiliated with, of course, as I said, with Saga the Hutt. My family has got an alliance and a working relationship with Basato. Plus, I am.
Does Timo know of that relationship?
Oh yes, that is the only reason why I am allowed in this town is because Basato and Java have worked out an agreement that I'm not to be touched, and that includes Timo cannot touch me either, unless Timo has a reason to. Then they would have to go to the council and the clan, or the council to decide my fate. I'm willing to take that risk. I'm also half Mandalorian. So my training, knowledge, and connections are well suited for this operation. Now, I originally wasn't sent here to do that. Originally, my father sent me here just to make my ends meet. But since I've been here, I have learned that sometimes there are things more important than money. Tatooine has been my home for many years now, as I've made a living. And I'd like to keep it
those
my home.
filthy, disparaging words back about things that are more important than money.
She turns at you and she goes, listen, Snake Eyes, when you're in a family that has millions of credits to their name, money just doesn't become a thing anymore.
Madame, I would like to take back my earlier pointed the blaster at you. I would like to extend a hand of friendship to you and your millions of credits.
And I slap Snake Eyes upside the head and say, shut up.
Ow!
She just grins at you and she goes, I had a feeling, Snake Eyes, that you would react that way. That's fine. If I didn't do my job, we wouldn't be talking right now. She goes, she continues and says, now I do have other people, like I said, in line to assist you guys. Unfortunately, they have been detained at the moment. Not detained in the fact that they're in jail or in Timo's capture or anything. They're just off doing other things and could not make it here tonight. Oh, excuse me. She thinks for a moment and goes, now, how are we going to proceed with this? And she goes, I know how we can proceed. Tomorrow, I want you guys to head to Shantytown. There will be an individual there that'll be looking for you guys. He'll be your first contact in who some of the players are. You will know this person as the infamous Hangman. Each of you roll a knowledge check, outer rim, against 1 purple.
Oh, I have 4 successes. I am the hangman.
All right. Yeah, I figured you guys would have successes. Snake Eyes, I'm going to give you 2 strain.
Okay.
And this is the reason why. Because you guys all have successes. And especially Wook. You guys know the Hangman. He is a vigilante that has been on Tatooine for years. He is known to have found criminals, and before the law gets a hold of them, dispatches his own brand of justice. Usually by hanging, hence why his name is the Hangman. Now granted, this day and age and in Star Wars universe, hangings don't happen. This
That
guy
is really low tech for Star Wars.
exactly. This guy is that vindictive and vicious that he has resorted to things that barbaric. He's good, and he is legend on this planet. Any criminal does not want to run into the Hangman. That's why, Snake Eyes, you know you're sweating right now because the Hangman is one guy you do. If you would rather mess with the Hutts at this point than the Hangman. The Hutts have a little bit more sympathy than the Hangman does.
I'm going through the little mental data pad going, okay, did I do anything bad enough to get him after me?
Yeah.
And I just look at Snake Eyes when she says the hangman. I just look at him and say, dun, dun, dun.
Hi.
He will be your first contact. He will fill you in on some of the information that you guys need to know about. Where you guys can begin on getting your evidence. Unfortunately, he would gather it himself, but as you guys may know if you've heard the reputation of the Hangman, he's quite busy. And he's trying to figure a way to get the hell out of town so he can continue his work.
Would we know this hangman if he was like wanted by the Imperials, or they don't care about him, or?
No, he has kept he's kept all of his activities on Tatooine. From what you guys know, he's been a long-time resident of Tatooine. So it's mostly anybody who's on Tatooine who's a criminal. Not only worries about what the Hutts may do, but if the Hangman gets a hold of you, you might be a dead man. Depending on if he knows if your reputation's well enough.
So he's a planetary bounty hunter then, kind of vigilante.
More of a vigilante than a bounty hunter, because bounty hunters work more legally. This guy is totally vigilante. And the only ones that are really worried about him are a lot of local marshals. Tyler's character, which for those of you who are not familiar, Tyler was one of our characters who wasn't here tonight. He is a marshal for the town of Mos Shuta, and we'll get into his backstory later. There's a couple other marshals that are on the smaller settlements. A lot of the police forces, like Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, that do run in town, would be the ones that would want him. The Hutts kind of want him, but not as much as there's other higher priority. They haven't. I mean, most of the guys that have been eliminated by the Hangman have been more low-level operatives of the Hutts that they're expendable anyway. So the Hutts have been a little concerned, and would probably get more concerned if higher associates were getting eliminated. But it's more the police forces and the marshals in these small settlements. In fact, actually, Tommy's character, who is a criminal, also would probably be a little worried about dealing with the Hangman. Fortunately for him, he's not here tonight, so he won't have to deal with it. But she continues and says, you might have a job for you guys to do. I may have jobs for you guys to do, and there will be others that through time will have jobs for you, and you will be paid. Especially if you work for me, I pay quite well. And I'm sure, Snake Eyes, you'd love to hear that.
If there are credits involved and it is on the up and up, and by up and up I mean where I can't get caught, then I am all for it.
Good. Now, it is getting late for me, and I must retire. And I'm sure Vort wants to close up for the night permanently. So I will leave you guys to your rest of your night. She turns to Adama and goes, Adama, my love, let's go. And Adama follows Ijem, and they both walk out of the cantina. And Sindisfort looks at you guys and goes, well, whenever you guys are ready, the door will be left open for you to leave.
Well, if that is the case, then Snake Eyes will mosey on over to a bar, grab a bottle, and go, make sure to put this on Ajin's tab, and starts heading for the door.
He nods and grins as you're leaving.
Math flips a couple credits out for a tip and heads out the door.
And Bart or Normal Look will walk over to Bortz and say, it's been nice, but you need to find yourself another bouncer. I got things to do.
Bort looks at you and goes, oh, don't worry. You'll be back in here at times. Me and Ijem have been working closely together for a few days now. And she asked me about you. And I said you were a trustworthy person to work with. So you're always welcome to come back here and bounce when you're not doing other duties. Don't worry, my friend.
I might take you up on that. Thanks for the helping hand.
Not a problem. Look, remember, you're always welcome back here.
Thanks, and I'll slap him on the shoulder and leave.
And as you slap him on the shoulder, he kind of jolts forward a little bit. Oh, man, I'll never get used to that.
I'll be right back.
All right. So we're going to move forward to the next, well, yeah, we'll move forward to the next day. You guys have your drinks, whatnot, at your home, and probably contemplate everything that was talking to. I know Math lives in the barracks, where the area where the rest of the guards of Timos reside. Let's see. Snake Eyes, you head back to your bunkhouse that's right across the way from the Vort's Cantina.
Yep.
And Wook is heads to his house, which is just north of the cantina that Vort had provided for you while you were in employment with him. And he has no problem letting you have it for a while, of course. And so we're going to fast forward to the next day. You guys are going to head to Shantytown right away, or did you want to do other business beforehand?
Well, when were we supposed to meet them there?
She didn't give an exact time. She just said in the morning. So I'd imagine anytime before the two suns get overhead.
Having to wake up early.
Shantytown's kind of like on the outskirts. On that map that
Yes.
you popped up, it's like bottom right?
Yeah. So it'd be where you guys, well, where you two live, it'd be, you
Yeah.
Just off to the and where Meth resides, it'd be a little bit further, but yeah, just same general direction.
Well, if we're having to be up in the morning, there won't be anyone already wanting to play some chance cubes. Hintaro. So I'll just make my way on to the meeting place. Not in a rush, just a casual stroll, just like I'm walking around town.
Okay.
Math gets up relatively early every day and cleans his armor and his weapons as best as he can. Probably shows up relatively early, but or what he thinks would be early, which is probably way too early, and keeps an eye out.
Oh, can we make is it discipline check to regain strain?
Yeah. Oh, no.
We didn't have any. Oh, yeah, you did for Rome.
He does, yeah. So, yeah, you can go ahead and...
And the Wook will wake up, he'll feed his cat, and he'll say goodbye to his cat and everything. Feed him and make sure he's got, food for a couple of days. Probably tell his neighbor, if you don't come back a couple of days. Watch his cat. And then, he'll go to, the beginning of the shanty town and, kind of like that trail that leads to it and just wait there.
All right. Sorry, I'm just making some notes real quick, and then let's see. So yeah, you would. How many strain did you have?
I had 3.
Okay, so.
But then I rolled 2 advantage and 2 successes. So now I only have 1.
Okay. Cool. 2 successes. 2. All right. So you guys are making your way. As you guys are walking through Shantytown, you notice it's the poor side of town. I mean, these shacks here aren't like the buildings you guys are used to in most of the city. You got the nice carved out sandstone type buildings at the cantina, your guys' homes, where you guys stay. And this is broken like sandstone structures that are broken with tarps. The door, they don't have basic doors. They have basically cloths that you just can walk right in. Very run down, I'd say ghetto part of town. As you guys are walking, you notice a gentleman who's got one of those smuggler type hats, the round, from the old Republic, round with the brim, really low down, so you can't see his eyes, but you see the nose and mouth. The smuggler type trench coat. See 2 pistols on his side. Rough gear, but it's well kept. It's gear for being out in the desert, but it's not dirty by any means. It's well kept. And he walks up to you guys as you guys are looking. He goes, "So are you the guys I'm supposed to meet?"
That would depend entirely upon what we are meeting for, good sir. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Jack McGraw, taking off my hat, bowing. At your service. Friend to Ejon Zoli. Perhaps you know of her.
Oh, I know her quite well. And you, my friend, I heard there's a bounty on your head for 15,000 credits.
And you, sir, are ever so encouraged to attempt to collect upon it. Be forewarned, many people have, yet here I am, still breathing.
Because I have no intention of collecting any bounties. I'm no bounty hunter. They're all in it for the money. Not what I'm for. Follow me, gentlemen. And he starts to walk into a shack. It's a rundown shack. Looks like basically like I described, an old sandstone structure. The roof is completely caved. It had been caved in at one time. It's completely gone. It's just rafters sticking up. And, of course, there's just like a blanket of some type that covers the door. And he flings it open and walks in. Do you guys follow?
Yeah, I'll walk in after him.
Yeah. I walk in and I probably like rip down the blanket because it's so big. Like gets caught in my head.
You take a quick look around outside and then walk in.
As you're looking, you just notice that, there's a few kids playing in the street. A lot of the people around there are looking really nervous to see, especially with Wook, as big as he is, walking around. And a lot of the people know Math as one of Timo's enforcers and look kind of nervous that one of his enforcers are in this section of town. Snake Eyes not as much with you. They don't really recognize you too much because you pretty much stick around the cantina on that side of town. So they just kind of look at you like, what the heck's this guy doing here? We understand the other guys might be in here, but this guy, come on. But you guys walk in. The gentleman looks and notices that Wook has accidentally torn down the blanket, and he grabs it off you, hangs it back up, and goes, I gotta hang that thing up better. And he turns around and goes, take a seat, gentlemen.
Is that humor? I do not understand.
Moth, he is the hangman, and he must hang that up better.
I still do not understand.
He looks at you, or not Math, he looks at you, Snake Eyes, and goes, was that supposed to be humor?
It was irony, sir. Irony.
Yes, I am known as the hangman, as you have perceived. And we're going to keep it that way. That's what you're going to call me. My real name is not important to you. The information I have is. Now, Ijem's told me you guys were here to help get rid of our little problem by the name of Timo. Am I correct to assume so?
You are correct.
Good. Now, unfortunately, I can't just string them up like I string up most of the people I'm after. But that's all right. I don't think there's enough rope around here to hang up that fat piece of crap.
Now, Chris, while this exchange between them is going on, Snake Eyes is observing that hole in the roof and looking around for any other spots that someone might be able to use to stick a blaster rifle through and open fire, or even looking around to make sure that nobody can snipe us while we're in here.
Okay. I will note that down. He continues talking. He says, now look, I'm going to get down to the point here. You do have friends in this town. You may not see them. You may not know who they are. Some may be friends, some may be enemies. We are working hard to figure out who's who and what's what. But for right now, the piece of information I'm to give you is to set you on the path to figuring out how to take down Timo, one way or the other, either with violence or by framing his ass. The first piece of information I have for you, and if you guys succeed at this, Ijem promises me that she will either me or her will pass on more information to you as the time goes. Now, Matt, you know of the slag works in town. The slag works are, it's basically like there's a mine that sits underneath Mashuta that Timo mines out. You've seen it as you walk through town. It's basically an area that they've got closed off. There's a little shack that goes down into the mine. The mine's not real deep, but it's deep enough that the town doesn't collapse in on itself. You know, it's down deep enough, but it's not like miles deep. And they've got a little smelting facility where whatever they're getting out of there gets smelted right on site. He goes, hold on a second. Sorry, folks, I'm fighting an allergy, so my throat keeps getting dried up the more I talk. He goes, now, the slag works are typically used for the mining minerals that Timo likes to sell. Part of Timo's legitimate front that he uses. But there's something odd that's going on down there. You know that incident with the Jedi that happened a few weeks back?
I do.
Would Snake Eyes have known about it? I know his character knows about it, but his other character did. Okay. And Wook?
Well, no. Sorry. Well, we all are aware of this incident that occurred. It's the thing that began this horrendous lockdown upon our city.
Correct. Now, the Imperials took this Jedi to the Slag Works. But the Jedi never came out.
Oh.
The only thing that came out was a bunch of materials along with the stormtroopers. And there was one fairly large piece of cargo that came out that these Imperials were guarding quite heavily and loaded upon the Imperial shuttle that came 2 days after this incident.
Oh.
Now, I need you guys to get in that place and figure out what's down there.
I believe that is something that we could accomplish. I am so glad that the words out of your mouth were not, "I need you to go rescue the Jedi."
Oh no, from what we understand, that Jedi's long gone. Now, the only thing we're wondering is how they got the Jedi off of this planet. We didn't see them take anybody off this planet. All we saw was a bunch of equipment and cargo head towards the warehouse where the Imperials used to store things right near Timo's palace, the starport there that Timo and the Imperials use. It's not the one they captured the Jedi at. It's the one on the opposite side, right next to Timo's palace. But we never...
The Jedi could very well be down there, right?
Possibly. But I believe something else happened, but I need you to confirm my suspicions.
Well, what are your suspicions?
Well, I believe they have a carbonite freezing facility down there.
So you want us to confirm or deny the carbonite freezing?
Correct.
And if we do confirm it, does this mean that you and your other allies will go and rescue the Jedi?
That is not our concern. We want to find out information on what's down there. If they have a carbonite facility, that might be important to us down the road. But the more information we have on what's going on in this city, the better.
That place is a hellhole. Lots of people have been down there, have never come back.
Correct.
I can't in good conscience leave somebody down there. If I find that Jedi, I'll bring them back.
Well, like I said, I don't believe they're down there. I believe that what I believe happened and what I've heard some rumors is that they took the Jedi down there, froze that Jedi in carbonite to be sent back to the Imperials, their security bureau, whoever they send these Jedi to. Hell, they may have even sent this Jedi to the Emperor himself. I have no clue. But that's what I understand, that this Jedi was frozen in carbonite down there. It was part of the cargo that went out.
And do you believe the Empire set up this carbonite freezer, or this is Timo's?
I believe it's Timo's. I don't think the Empire... I know the Empire works closely with Timo. But I don't think they provided the equipment. I think Timo is doing this on his own. But like I said, I just need to know what's down there. Because the minerals they're pulling out of that place is not enough to sustain this operation as long as they have.
Very well, but how do you suppose we get into this place? It's heavily guarded. We all know that.
He looks at Math and he goes, "Here's your key."
I believe I can get us in. I don't know how far down. I have not heard of this carbonite freezer, and I do not know how far down it will be.
We don't either. That's why all we need you to do is go down there and get information. What you see, what you notice.
I would also like to add in something. Whilst we are going about this mighty powerful head-on to sacrifice our very lives to attain this information for you, I believe we are also owed something else. That would be, namely, more information upon what Timo and his relationship is with the Imperials.
His
You
relationship.
see, going back to what we were discussing before, gentlemen, if we can also ruin Timo's ties with the Empire, they will also leave this planet. And that will be yet another faction that we do not have to deal with. I do not know about you, but I myself, I am very, very glad to deal with the least amount of people as possible.
He's got a point.
Then who would you gamble against if you didn't gamble against anybody?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Then who would you gamble against if you didn't have to deal with anybody?
It is better to cut cards against one man than many. Many men have many eyes, and one of them could see you slide in that ace right up your sleeve.
I understand.
You are such a fun fellow, man. You and I will get along perfectly.
If you say so.
Hangman looks at you, Snake Eyes, and goes, you mentioned something about why Timo's working with the Imperials, or why the Imperials are working with Timo. Is that correct,
Exactly.
sir? All right.
Exactly. The more information we can get about those particulars, the more we can hurt them.
Well, I don't know what the exact relationship is, but from what we know, the Imperials have worked with Hutts on many occasions, different Hutts, not just Timo, at times with Jabba and some of the other Hutts, to get materials, equipment, whatnot that need to be under the table, so to speak. Not to go through.
Timo is a Hutt, is he not?
Yes.
Therefore, he has cut his own personal deal above and beyond what the Hutts might offer. He has cut his own personal deal with the Imperial forces here. That is what we need to damage.
He may have. The Imperials might just be reacting to the Jedi being here. We don't know exactly why they're sticking around for so long.
He will have cut a deal with them. He is a Hutt. Look, can you
Perhaps.
please back me up upon this?
He's a Hutt. He cuts deals. He'll cut a deal with his worst enemy if it makes him money.
Yes, you're probably right. But that's another thing altogether. Right now, we need to focus on the mission at hand. Get down to that mine. Find out what's down there. Take that information to Ijem herself. She will be at the office, the survey office where the scouts all meet. Give her that information. And she assured me that on completion of this mission, you guys will each receive, what did she say? 1,000 credits each? How does that sound to you boys?
1,000 credits to risk my life and limb. This better be a taste of things to come.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Ijem is a good person to work for. She does pay quite well. But you have to prove yourself.
If it gets Timo off the planet, I'm in.
I'd love to hear that.
I
believe
count upon you.
Snake Eyes will like our idea for bringing him into the mine.
Snake Eyes will not like your idea because he has not heard your idea yet.
The only rational idea would be that due to the fact of your relationship with Timo, that I would be bringing you there to scare you into paying.
I believe that you were wrong and I was right. Mr. Snake Eyes does not appreciate being thrown into a mine.
Well, that's
But I
only
do-
if the Wook would throw you.
But I do appreciate the duplicity upon your actions.
Lots of danger, and I get to throw Snake Eyes. Let's get this party started.
Oh, and look, Wook, you are getting paid to throw me.
Even better.
Seems like a regular Saturday night.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I will leave you to your plan and whatnot. Remember, get the information of what's down there and take it back to Ijem. That is all. I must leave now to not make things so obvious. Plus, I've got other business to handle too right at this moment. And he gets up, walks through the curtain, and
Have fun with your future hangings.
he doesn't hear you as you say that. And if he does, he doesn't make any notice of it. Because you just see him walk out, and then the blanket falls closed, and it leaves you three in this little shack.
I said, you didn't have to slam the door.
All right, so you guys gonna make your way to the mine then? The slide works?
You got to stop for anything, or
I would suggest we do this under the cover of evening. Or as close as it gets on this damn planet.
would we know if there's like shifts at this place, like getting out, like when all the miners come out, or
Shouldn't Math know that? Couldn't he
Yeah,
slice something to find that?
Now, Math, what you know of it, I'm gonna feed you guys this, that there's always 3 Gamorrean guards. They're called overseers that work there. they tend to do most of their work during the daytime because it's cooler down there in the mines than it would be up on the surface. But at night, there's still the 3 that work there, but a lot of the miners are done for the day. They come up. Matthew, you do know that because of your plan that you said that you were going to take Snake Eyes down there to scare him. Right. That does happen on a regular basis. You didn't, I mean, you've done it a couple times with we'll say, with a couple of other people that Timo's wanted you to scare, as amongst some other of his thugs that do that. So it's a common practice that at night they take people down there to scare them. So it's not uncommon for that to happen.
I believe waiting for night is the correct play here. Wook, would you be willing to accompany me on this? I don't believe I have worked with you before. However, I believe the guards will understand your inclination to go along.
As long as I get to deal with those Gamorreans. Slavs always making a mess at the cantina.
You should see their barracks.
I don't even want to know.
Wook, we shall dine on pork chops this evening.
Big fat ones.
You guys gonna eat some green eggs and ham then? Or green eggs
ham.
and green ham?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys wait till nightfall. You make your way to the slag works, the guards. Huh?
Yep. Now Math is probably going to be in front. Now this is the way I pictured it.
Okay.
And then we'll have Snake Eyes like in the middle, but I'll be behind him. You know, I got like rather large hands, so Snake Eyes will probably have both hands behind his back, and I'll be covering up, you know, like kind of like he's got handcuffs on, but I got such large hands. I'm covering up where the handcuffs should be so they won't see it, you know, maybe with my left hand and walking behind him. So he's not bound, but he looks like he is.
And I do have a question. Do either of you have like, are on either of your clothes, are they bulky enough to where I can take my 2 obvious blasters and stick them in there? Because obviously they're going to look at my hips to see if I've got guns.
I'll have your pistols.
Okay.
All right, so you guys make your way in. The Gamorrean guards see Math, snort, and let you through. And you make your way into the little building. And in the little building, there's an elevator. Math, you're familiar with it.
She said she was 18. How was I to know?
Shut up, and I slap him upside the head.
Ow!
As you guys make your way,
There's gonna be a lot of that in this game, Donnie, so be used to it.
Yeah.
Matthew, you walk in, you notice the elevator. You've gone in several times now. It's been probably a couple months since you've had to take anybody down here.
Yep.
So you notice on the pad that, you know, there was level 1, level 2, but there's another button added, and it says level 3, and it's something different. You never noticed that before. Because like I said, you haven't been here in months.
I believe this button is new. Do we wish to go there directly, or do we wish to go more stealthily than directly?
Where do you usually take?
Depends on how bad the person is.
Well, look at this guy. He's pretty bad.
That'd probably be a level 2, but I'm willing to try to level 3 right away, but it might not take us there. I do not know if we need to wire it differently or not to go.
Is there only one way down to this elevator?
That I know of, yes.
What are you thinking, Snake Eyes?
I believe that we should take it to level 2 and then find our way from level 2 down to level 3. There has to be some, well, I would say vent, but, and then he kind of just looks at Wook. I believe that some of us are not trim and slim enough to fit through vents.
What are you saying?
I believe
That
he
you
is
are
saying
fat,
your
good
masculinity
sir.
scares him.
Don't worry. I'll get down there. Even if I have to shove you in first.
But
So realizing, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say, realizing that there's another button. Where does the power supply from the mine come from?
The outside the building.
So is
There's
there
a-
more power running into the mine than there was before as well?
Give me a average perception roll to see if you notice that.
Like, how many total, how deep does this elevator go? How deep does this mine? Can we see on the elevator?
It goes probably like all you see. You can't see below you, so all you see is the elevator. It's like any elevator in the building. You can't see above. You just see the elevator area.
A failure and an advantage.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. Let's see. All right. You don't notice anything like okay. I'll say this. You don't notice like it doesn't look like that there's a lot of new power running, but you do notice some newer parts on where the power generator is.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like it's adding any more power.
Yeah.
It just puts newer.
It's Tatooine. The desert ruins about anything it can.
Yeah. So perhaps it could be, or it might not be. You don't know for sure.
So press button 2. We go down to the second.
All right. So you go down to the second level, and like I said, it's been months since you've been here. You've noticed that the second level, where they're mining, has gone further. I mean, you notice that it was a smaller area when you were last down here. It was still fairly new, being worked on, being mined. But it looks like over the past couple months they've cleared out a lot. You come off the elevator, you walk into a little room area, you see 2 shafts. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. The right one, you can see the very end of where they've worked. It goes down probably a quarter of a kilometer down, and you see it's all lit up. It's well structured, keeping the walls up from caving in. You look off to the left, and it's the same thing, except at the very end you notice that there's a bunch of equipment and stuff, and you notice that looks like there's some kind of another elevator down that way.
I believe that is our descent.
Do you wish to have your pistols back now or wait?
Oh no. I'll kind of, wiggle a little bit so Wook will release my hands so I can grab my guns and put them in the holster. I believe that whoever goes down to that third level, there will be people waiting outside those elevator doors. If the third floor is a new floor, then if any chicanery were going down, it would be there. Let us be prepared.
I say we continue.
All right, so you guys are heading towards that elevator shaft.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys make your way. It looks like one of those cargo elevators. You know, just a door lifts up, caged, and just looks like where they can stick a bunch of equipment. And on the button of the elevator, it just says up or down.
Is there actually a way up here?
It would be like if they were down below, it could go up.
Oh, okay.
And then if you're up, you can go down. So that, I mean, if you pushed up, it would just jolt a little bit, but not go anywhere.
Wire going down, or press going down.
Okay. So you make your way down. You notice as you look down, it's a little bit more open than the elevator was, so you can see a little bit more down. And it goes down a couple 100 feet. And it's a slow descent. You make your way down, and as you're coming down, you notice you're looking, and this section where you go on this third floor, you notice that you see a bunch of crates and equipment that's sitting there, and it's very well, I mean, as opposed to up above you where the mines are just mined rock and then supports holding up, this has actually got like durasteel walls. So this looks like this has been set up nicely. And in front of you, as you see, about the same distance from the actually, no, it'd be a little bit shorter distance. It'd be about a couple, like 200 meters. No, about 150 meters from the edge of the elevator, from the edge of the freight elevator to the door where there's a door in front of you. And there, there's just a bunch of equipment and crates sitting there. And the door is closed.
Okay. As we're on our way down, I would like to take the cover off of the buttons and wire it so you have to press both buttons at once for it to go back up. So I don't want to be spotted down here. So if somebody gets away, they can't use the elevator to get up.
Okay. Make me a mechanics check. Difficulty of 2.
Woohoo!
All right. So yeah, I will say you successfully rewired the elevator. So now you have to push both buttons for it to go up or down, and it just automatically goes like so. If you're up top, it won't go keep going up; it'll go right back down.
Yep.
And what would you like your advantage to be?
I have no idea in this situation.
You can pass on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So whoever makes the roll next will have a boost die, and so you guys are going to proceed to the door.
Where there's crates like on both sides, you said?
Yeah, there's crates and equipment just stacked up, not up all the way up to the ceiling, but stacked up as you go.
I'm gonna smash one of the crates and see what's inside.
Okay.
Put my fist right through the top.
All right. I'm gonna roll something real quick to determine what's in this one. All right. You smash open one of them, and you notice a whole bunch of spice come out of this one.
Look, there was a button you could have pushed right here.
Buttons take long. But it looks like we got some other things going on down here, gentlemen. And he'll show them like the spice. He'll just pick up a little something and just like, put it through his fingers and let it drop back down into the container.
Is that a resource from Tatooine?
You can check to see what kind of spice it is. Give me a skullduggery difficulty of 3. Whoever wants to make it.
Now we got 2. So.
I only have 2.
Somebody else is better at it.
Snake Eyes, do you want to try to see?
I failed. Oh, wait. He did pass an advantage.
Yeah, so, okay.
Next guy down the line will get an advantage.
You pass on 2 boost dice at that point. Or I can give you something. You want to see it?
Yeah, but purely for scientific purposes, some of that spice goes into the utility belt.
Okay.
Purely for study purposes later, not to sell on the streets.
Okay. All right. So you guys keep making your way towards the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I am looking around for any cameras in this hallway or in this warehouse, whatever it is.
Okay, give me a perception check. 2.
Yeah.
You do notice. You don't notice any cameras, but what you do notice is a lot of what the equipment that's down there. You notice that there's, of course, stuff labeled spice. You know, some different types of spice. It's not just one kind. There's your typical spice. There's also weapons that are down there. And it looks like a lot of these weapons are like disruptor weapons, stuff that you don't get typically. It looks like a lot of black market stuff's down here.
Are they just rifles or are there blaster pistols?
You look like there could be both. Pistols and rifles down there.
Was it highly illegal stuff?
Yes, this is like highly illegal stuff.
Well,
weaponry, drugs.
It's hard to pass up a disruptor rifle.
Yeah, and if there's some pistols down there, 2 of them are just going to happen to find their way in my pockets too.
Okay, I want you to give me a skullduggery check. Are you the only one who's taking anything? Or is everybody trying to take stuff?
There's no melee or brawling weapons or anything, is there?
No.
Yeah. Got no use for guns.
I got these.
These are the only guns I need.
All right, so Ken, were you going to take anything? Or?
I would look. I mean, they're inside crates or what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It would be very hard to pass up. However, knowing once we get to the surface, if we have set off the alarms, a disruptor rifle would totally point the finger at me instead of at something else. So if I was going to try and take something, I'd try and take it in pieces. And knowing I don't have the time for that, I probably wouldn't grab anything.
Okay. So, Don, are you still going to try to take them?
Yep, I need a difficulty.
3 purple on your skullduggery. Okay. You get them. And you take 2 strain for trying to get them without setting off any alarms or anything. You take your time. All right. So you guys make your way to the door. You know, it just will open up. There's no security pass or nothing. If you've made it this far down, you're probably down here for a reason.
What do we see?
You open the door?
We're going to the elevator, right? We're getting into the elevator?
No, you guys got
No,
out of the
we're-
elevator and you're walking down the hallway towards the door.
Oh, okay. All right, it's a door.
So open the door. As you open it, you look around and you see what appears to be a carbon freezing chamber.
I believe the hangman was correct.
And as you say that, you notice a individual dressed in Mandalorian armor going, "Hey, who are you guys?"
Hitting that door close button.
So as you do that, the door closes. Are you guys going to make a run for the elevator, or are you going to stay there and wait? All right, you guys make a run for the elevator and make your way up. And as you guys get up to the top, you notice that Mandalorian's just standing right there, looking at you. And he says, "I said, who are you guys?"
Can I roll to disbelieve the Force Ghost?
Nope.
I have brought this gentleman here to the mine to scare him. We were down here. I apologize for our intrusion.
I immediately grabbed Snake Eyes, like, put his hands behind his back and put my hand around his hands. And
But the apparently the Mandalorian can see it work because there's genuine fear in Snake Eyes' face right now, looking at a Mandalorian.
pay no attention to his pistols on the sidewalk.
All right. Math, give me a deception roll. Difficulty of 3.
God.
But I'm going to give you 2 boosts.
This is going to go so well.
One for the genuine fear in Snake Eyes' face, and the other one for Wook playing along.
A wash.
Oh,
That could have gone worse.
he looks at you when you say that, and he tilts his head. He goes, "You know you're not supposed to be below level 2.
I have not been here since there was only a level 2. I did not know there was a level 3 and thought that it would be better to scare him at the last level.
Give me another deception roll, but I'm going to give you a difficulty of 1. Because you... Wow. Two washes, but you know what? You didn't fail, so he's going to say... He looks at you, he goes, "All right, so now you know. Do not go below level 2. And if I catch you down here again below level 2, I will shoot you myself."
Would you like to discipline this young man?
And then the incredulous, "I will fucking kill you." Matt.
Then I say, then the Wook says, "What are we supposed to do with this goat fucker anyways?"
Well,
He's called me
if he is
worse.
significantly scared, he will pay back his credits. It was nice meeting you.
He just shakes his head and makes his way to the elevator where you guys would have gone if you would have gone straight down. He took it up and he goes, "I'll send the elevator back in a moment," and it goes down. And as you guys wait,
Is this the elevator that
No,
Math
this is the other
messed
one.
up?
this is the
The other
one
one?
that because you guys went back up the cargo elevator. You forgot that there was another elevator, or maybe you didn't. But he took that
Yeah.
elevator up and beat you guys up there. So
This doesn't mean anything. I'm just going. See, this is why I make the deception checks.
hey, could if you would have failed though, that would have been combat. That's pretty good though. All right, so are you guys discussing anything while you're waiting for the elevator? Or?
I do not think that the apprentice told us everything. If there is a Mandalorian down here, that does not bode well, since she is half Mandalorian.
Yes, she is half Mandalorian.
You are correct. Also, why is there a Mandalorian here? Someone has contracted him.
Well, there's something that they want to protect down there.
Those pistols on the side of his hip say some.
I don't know. Either way, nice job, MB, for not getting us killed.
I have not fought a Mandalorian. I was looking forward to it.
As you say, the elevator comes up empty.
Math, you. No. We are not fighting Mandalorians if we can avoid it.
If Chemo has them on their payroll, how will we not be able to avoid it?
Why not? They bleed like everybody else.
We will throw thermal detonators at them from a safe distance.
And where will we obtain thermal detonators?
There's probably some in those crates.
See?
And we'll have to
The
fight.
Wook has good ideas.
And again, we will have to fight the Mandalorian to get them.
Either way, that's for a future time. Let's take our information and let's get paid.
Was there a particular sigil on the Mandalorian's armor, or was it just blank?
Yeah, there was a signia. And I'll say you do notice it.
Is it something we can easily draw up again or write down?
You'd be able to describe it if asked
Okay.
about it. I'll just give you that. So you guys make your way back up and make your way back towards the gem.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the top of the elevator, Wook, I believe he needs to have at least one black eye.
No, he does not.
I think you're right. And he just bounced it right in the eye. Boom.
All right, Wook, give me
my pretty looks.
Let's see. How am I going to do this?
How will Mama McGraw ever identify me?
What's your brawn, Snake Eyes? 1? All right.
I'm a fragile man.
Wait a
Mine's
minute.
4.
Oh,
Brawl versus 1 purple. And yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be ugly.
please roll despairs. Please roll despairs. Please roll despairs.
This is gonna be ugly.
Oh! Okay, so not only do you punch him so hard that he's got a black eye, but his whole eye just swells up shut.
Oh, God.
Can the advantages be it looks absolutely horrible? I'm sorry, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks
Oh, yeah,
horrible.
that's
The
why-
fact that they're not gonna
that's
do it.
why
That's awesome.
I mean, it looks like Rocky, from the very first Rocky at the end of the fight, but it's just the one eye. I mean, it's all
Oh my
puff and
God.
swollen and blood. Just, it looks nasty.
The wood punches him,
What
and then his eyes just like, well, like bleeding and everything. He's like, ain't so pretty now, pretty boy.
And I will need your pistols until we get outside the compound.
Oh.
Look, you have been dying to do that for far too long because you've been practicing. Oh, you've been practicing. Oh,
Oh, you must have.
It felt good.
All right. So you guys get up the top. Snake Eyes, you hand Math your pistols on your way up.
or at least once we get out of sight.
Or the Mandalorian went back down and sent the elevator back up.
We still got to get back
No,
past
I mean,
these
we
Gamorreans,
came
right?
in here. Well, we came in here with the cover story that I was a prisoner to be scared straight. So to maintain that deception, we'd probably wait until we're out of eye line of the Gamorreans.
Right. No, I meant, did you give the pistols because Matt asked for the pistols?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He was giving them to me until we get out of sight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Outside
Okay.
the compound.
Okay. Cool. Okay, I misunderstood that. All right. So you guys make your way out. I'd say Matt, of course, is leading the way. Snake Eyes at this point with his eye just swollen, looking nasty. He's quite dazed, and Wook is trying to hold him up because, I mean, you're in pain, you're dazed. I mean, it looks like they did a working on you. I mean, these Gamorrean guards, as you guys are walking by, just chuckle hysterically with laughter as they see you just like play, and Wook's having to hold you up. So I'm not even going to have to make you roll for deception on that one. That right there just got you past there with no problem. So you guys make your way to the survey office, or you're going to wait?
Like, what time is it? It's probably like late at night, isn't it, by now?
Yeah, it's late at night, and the hangman didn't give you any time set for when to get the information back to her, just to get it back to her.
She's what'd you say she was in? A survey office or something?
Well, you don't know where she lives. That's where she usually works. But with it being night, you don't know where she lives at.
So it'd probably be close the office. So.
Snake Eyes needs a drink. Several at this point.
I will look at your eye when we get to the cantina.
Okay, so you guys are going to make your way to the cantina?
Oh.
Yeah. Let's slap a steak on that thing.
You are not slapping anything, good sir, upon me.
I just did. Let's do it again.
As you guys are getting closer, you notice that there's a lot of loud music and joviality happening as you're getting closer and closer to boards. It looks like it's actually some kind of party going on there right now. It's something you haven't seen in the past few days.
I'll say something to these guys. I'll say, this is quite strange. There hasn't been no money for a party around here lately. Something's going on here.
Well, where there's a party, there's someone spending money on a party. Therefore, whoever's doing it, they've got some. They're doing it for a very good reason. I do believe we should look at it carefully. Besides, where there are parties, there are drunk women. And where there are drunk women, there are women who dig scars.
And I'll look at Snake Eyes. I'll say, yeah, but just keep an eye out.
Oh, that is quite hilarious. Quite hilarious.
If you want a scar, we could give you one there if you really wanted a scar.
Math, please leave the humor to the rest of us.
I attempt to.
All right, so you guys are slowly making your way. I mean, this conversation's carrying on, and as you step in, there's a few of the townsfolk there that are drinking, having a good time. There's music playing on the jukebox. Adama's up there dancing. And Vort's like, gentlemen, can you believe this?
Quite literally, no.
Oh, Snake Eyes, you're going to want to hear about this. There's a little Sabat tournament that's going to be happening here in a couple days.
So what's with the party tonight?
It seems that Timo's allowing some special guests to come in on this Sabat tournament, so might bring in a little extra money here. So we're all celebrating a little bit. You notice that it's mostly just some of the shop owners and people that have had money. It seems like Timo has decided to open up this Sabat tournament. It's very limited. It's from what Vort tells you, it's going to be a one of those high stake games.
And what is the buy-in?
The buy-in, he goes, is 10,000 credits.
I lean over. I lean over. I whisper to Snake Eyes. I think you could probably get that for one of those disruptor pistols.
And as you say that, you feel a hand tap on your shoulder, Snake Eyes, and you hear a female voice going, "Disruptor pistols, you say?" And you look, and it's Yjem. She snuck up behind you guys as you were walking in.
I don't know what he is talking about. But I do know where I can get some lovely spice.
Spice, you say? Shh, keep that down.
In fact, why don't we discuss this in your office?
Well, my office is closed,
Yeah.
but we'll sit
And
over in
office.
this booth. And you notice that there's a booth off to your side that it is kind of secluded. You don't have to worry about it too much though, because it's close to the stage, and there's so much noise that nobody's really listening in to you. And I'm going to say, for narration's sake, you guys fill her in on what's going on.
And
Down
give her this, the symbol for the clan that we saw.
Yeah. Okay, so you tell her that, and she goes, "Yeah, I figured the Nexu clan was here."
Well, were you gonna tell us about that, or?
Well, they are bounty hunters that you see, and Timo's put quite a price on those six's heads, so of course they're going to be here in town. I didn't know that there was anybody guarding that facility down there. But Timo must be paying them quite well. And there's nothing I hate more than a Nexu clan member. But we will discuss things on that later. For now, there's celebration. And don't worry, she, you know, as you guys are sitting around, she hands you each a credit stick worth 1,000 credits. There's your payment, boys. Good job. And there'll be more to come as days go on.
About the Sabak tournament, Timo is bringing in special people to it, correct?
That's correct.
Then I need to be in that tournament. People will, if he's bringing people in, it's more than likely so they can help him.
She grins and she goes,
Hutts never do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, for they have none.
she grins and she goes, and she grins at first at the statement, and she says, "Snake Eyes, I'm already 5 steps ahead of you. I'm fronting your money to get you in that tournament. And then she looks up at your swollen, bloodied eye, and the grin gets even bigger. She looks at Wook and goes, "It looks like Wook finally got a good hold of you, huh?"
Yes, you can see his knuckle prints here, 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 and here.
That's my masterpiece right there.
But for now, that is celebration, picking up a bottle, libation, and jubilation to be had.
That is correct.
I will see you gentlemen later.
So Snake Eyes goes off and
He's gonna go party down.
what does Math do at this point?
Ask questions about the Nexu clan.
Okay, as you're asking questions, she fills you in. The Nexu clan is a clan based off of Dathomir. They're one of many Mandalorian clans. And one of my family's, I'd say, sworn enemies. We find them very despicable, weak. They look for money any way, shape, or form.
They seem to have a large supply of weapons.
Oh, those weapons are probably meant for other individuals. I'm sure Timo's probably hired the clan for hunting down the 6 individuals that escaped and probably doing other work for Timo. It's not uncommon for Hutts to, of course, hire Mandalorians or do business with Mandalorians. As you can tell, my family already does business with the Satos, so.
Why exactly were you wanting to know what was down there? How does it help you?
You never know. The more information we get on what's going on in this town, we put the pieces together and find out where Timo's weaknesses are. That's a good start. You guys have told me that there was weapons, spice. There's even a carbonite freezing chamber, which I find highly unusual for a Hutt to have, since the mining they do down there is not gas mining. But we will find out as time goes on and we get more information on what the purpose of that chamber's for. And how we may even destroy it and take some of the booty down there. Now, Snake Eyes, did you hand Ijem any of that spice that you took?
I would have given her a little bit, like a spoonful.
Okay.
Because the rest I do intend on selling.
Okay. She looks at it, the spice, and she goes, "Ah, Timo's cutting into our business, I see." And she puts it in, and she goes, "I'm going to have to let Father know about this."
What exactly is that?
But you're gone. Remember, you went to go party.
I give her some. I'm sure she could have looked at it.
Oh, okay. Well, she goes to you. She goes, "Well, we handle many things. This
Or no, Chris, you're right. I'll probably ask her what kind later
on. Yeah. Okay.
After I got a little bit of a celebration on, after I hit on, probably successfully because I got a good charm.
Okay. Well, I would say write down that question for another session. So put that in your notes. All right. So was there anything else we needed to cover? Did Wook have anything to say, or what was Wook going to do?
Would she have said that in front of Wook? I take it me and Math were sitting at the table.
Yeah, she would have said that in front of Wook.
Is this the site? Is this the spice that? What is it? That Veros or whatever his name is, Visato runs.
Oh, indeed, it is. And my family has a vetted interest in it.
And Wook will look her, like lean over, look her in the eye and say, I've never liked that stuff. And I better not see it in my town.
Well, this days, she says, isn't just a drug that is used for the common, everyday person. This spice has a lot more to do with the Empire than you will ever know.
Well, either way, it's spice. Keep it away from me. And with that, Wook will get up and he'll just walk out the cantina. He's not much for partying.
Okay. And does Matt have anything else to discuss with
No.
that?
Once Wook leaves, Math probably stands up and walks out as well.
All right. So as the camera pans up out of the cantina, we see a Imperial shuttle come down and land in the one spaceport area that is near Timo's palace, and that's where we're going to end the game right there.
All right.
So, yep, it is shorter than what we would normally plan, but of course it's a lot easier when you only have 3 players as opposed to 5.
Yep.
We segment it out a little bit longer. So, for everybody watching tonight, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next month we will have our next episode, and hopefully we will have everybody here next time. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Did you guys want to promote anything, channels or anything before we go off air? No?
Want to do it? Did you want to do a tie to change or not this session?
We're going to wait until the next session
Yeah,
when we
okay.
got everybody here. So this session we're just going to leave as is. Because I do want to get everybody in here to do the tie change. So, yeah, we're going to leave it as that for now, unless you guys have anything else. Oh, in less than a week, Brigade Con. If you guys can catch anything on Brigade Con on Saturday, the 29th. If you can't be there to play a game, donate to Child's Play Charity. That's what Brigade Con's all about. Otherwise, check out the Tides of Change Role Playing Club. I think there are a few people doing games. I unfortunately have to work that night, so I will not be doing any games, unfortunately. I was hoping to, but hopefully next year I'll be able to do a whole 24 hours worth of games, which is going to be a marathon in itself, but I think it would be fun. So also look forward to next week, Fly from the Inside, the newest episode. We skipped last week for many reasons. Work with me. We were missing people, and I had writer's block. It happens. Then catch Ashes to Ashes. I know a new episode will be coming out sometime soon. Tom's in that. With me and Archie, who's in our Fly from the Inside. And Donnie, did you have something to promote?
Yes. On Tuesday night, I'm going to be on a World of Darkness podcast, Tempus Tenebrarum. That's Tenebrarum. It's going to be the Halloween episode, so we'll be extra spooky.
Oh, awesome. Might have to check that out. And then, yes, so we got that. Brigade Con. Next week's Fly from the Inside. It begins a new story arc. We're out of the adventures that we were doing, and now we're into our own storyline. First episode, Master of Shadows. And no, it's not a Halloween-based episode. It just happens to be the title of the story that's going on, but it'll be a really interesting story. Other than that, Ashes. Also check out on Jarl of Goat's channel. There's other games, Destiny, Horizon, some other stuff goes on. And of course, check out the Tides of Change role-playing club. There's other Star Wars games out there that you can check out. Other GMs, other players. Other than that, guys, I wish everybody who's watching now and in the future good night. And you gentlemen a good night. And we will see you in about a month with the next episode of Vendetta. We'll see you then.